Right now at 5 on WHAS 11 News, will customers buy Ford's new electric pickup truck on the way? We're in the showrooms today talking to local car dealerships and those on the fence about EVs after Ford's major announcement for Louisville.
How do other judges view the case of Armand Langford, the man on shock probation accused of kidnapping an East End mother and her children, then robbing a bank?
And then a little later at 5:30, more high school rebounding from a fire that police say was intentionally set. It's SOS to the rescue, the Louisville organization's big donation, right now on WHAS 11 News at 5. Ford dealerships in our area believe a $30,000 price tag for a new electric vehicle could be the turning point for demand.
It comes after that big announcement by Ford CEO Jim Farley, who was down at the Louisville assembly plant yesterday, and he revealed plans to build a new all-electric midsize pickup truck there.
But will people be lining up to buy them? That's what we wanted to find out today. Isaiah Kim Martinez is asking local Ford dealership owners and customers that very question.
An EV is the way to go. I mean, it's going to be the future, obviously.
But the present is the American public, including Kentuckians, still relatively hesitant to buy Ford's electric vehicles.
I talked to a lot of people about, why don't you buy one? Oh, I love my gas car.
Sean Hathaway of Louisville has been a loyal Ford customer since he bought his first Explorer in 1992. He plans on buying an EV soon, but acknowledges he knows people who are skeptical.
We need more charging stations, but that's going to come.
For some, there's also the issue of costs.
Well, for EVs, it's more of a one-price strategy.
The price tag for an all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning is sitting at more than $71,000 at Bill Collins Ford in Louisville. This all-electric Ford Mustang Mach-E is listed at more than $48,000. The question now, could a $30,000 price tag be the magic number for Ford EVs, which have had trouble racking up the sales the company envisioned for midway through 2025?
A lot of it is still just being a little gun shy with the infrastructure, not knowing exactly when they may need to travel a little further than they can go on a charge, the time it takes to charge.
Shane Collins is the GM at Bill Collins Ford on Bardstown Road.
If you can get into a new vehicle for $30,000, it's going to be a good price point.
Smaller pickup trucks like the Maverick have done well for Ford, in part because of its affordability. This one right here at Carriage Ford in southern Indiana, selling for just under $30,000. Now Ford is hoping to replicate that same success with that new all-electric vehicle announced this week.
One of the problems people have right now is the cost of things. To have that $30,000 entry level is going to be great.
I asked Marty Book, president at the Carriage Ford dealership in Clarksville, whether the September expiration of those $7,500 EV tax credits will hurt Ford's vision.
I think it stinks. I really feel like Ford's going to come up with something. I really think all the electric vehicle lines, I think they'll come up with some sort of rebates to have to kind of cover what happened there.
That was a biggie. I mean, that really sold a lot of people.
But Sean Hathaway, who was in the middle of buying a Mustang GT as we talked, believes people will eventually adopt electric. He says it's not an if, it's a when. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
And Ford's new EV truck is expected to hit the market in 2027.
The Louisville assembly plant, which of course is down by the airport, will temporarily shut down later this year to retool its assembly lines for the electric model, and that's expected to take several months.
So now what does that mean for the investment for the thousands of people working at Ford? According to the president of the Louisville chapter of UAW, expect some layoffs. Ford says this investment secures the jobs of more than 2,000 hourly workers at LAP. Right now, nearly 3,000 work there.
UAW president, the local president, Todd Dunn, telling us it will definitely reduce the number of people working on building the vehicles. Dunn says layoffs will likely depend on the volume of future EV production.
New tonight, a former judge weighs in on the decision to give Armand Langford shock probation. He was sentenced to 14 years in 2024 for a string of robberies, but only served 5 months.
Langford is now accused of forcing a Linden mother and her 2 young children into their own car after invading their home on Friday morning. Police say he then made her drive to a nearby PNC Bank at Oxmoor, where he demanded $20,000 from a bank teller.
WHAS 11's Alexander Goldberg dives into his previous charges and the judge's decision to let him out.
Shock probation. It's the legal term we've heard over again in the case of 32-year-old bank robbery suspect Armand Langford. But when a judge grants this, there's a lot they must consider.
The shock probation was a mistake.
Retired Judge David Holton served on the bench for 10 years in the Jefferson County District Court, now weighing in on a decision made by Judge Jessica Green in 2024 to release Langford in a previous criminal case.
With the nature of those charges, that he should not have been released on shock probation.
Langford made headlines this week for allegedly kidnapping a mother and her children, robbing a bank, and assaulting the mother on Friday. But court documents show he has been convicted and sentenced to 14 years in prison for a string of ATM robberies in 2021. After only serving 5 months in a halfway house, Judge Green let him out, though placing him on a high level of probation supervision.
I'm certain that the judge regrets that, and if she had to do over again, she wouldn't.
And ironically, Langford now faces more time after new charges and violating the probation that got him out early. In Louisville, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS11 on your side.
Well, we talked with Judge Jessica Green on the phone yesterday. She told us it was against her professional standards to comment on any case.
But one of Green's 17 conditions to allow shock probation included Langford's probation officer could have requested to meet with him and report to the court twice a week. Langford's bond again is set at $1 million.
Kentucky State Police are still looking for a missing 10-year-old out of Breathitt County. Jaden Spicer was last seen on August 5th wearing blue Sonic the Hedgehog pajama pants and a matching shirt. Law enforcement believe that he walked away from his home on Pamble Branch Road in Jackson. Now, if you might know where he is, you are asked to call KSP and Hazard. They want to hear from you. That number, 606-435-6069.
And an update from a story we had on the night team last night at 11. Metro Police investigating a deadly stabbing that happened in Clifton Heights neighborhood just east of downtown. According to police, it happened about 8 o'clock last night at an apartment complex off Melwood Avenue and Zorn Avenue, right near the VA hospital. Police say they found a man inside an apartment there suffering from several stab wounds, and he died at the scene. Police also pointed out that all parties in this incident have been accounted for.
Some storms in the area as kids are headed home from school today.
It was one of those hit and miss type situations, and Chief Meteorologist Mallory Schnell is joining us. So, Mallory, are they still firing up at this hour or
Yes,
going away?
They are still developing, and honestly, we'll be tracking this scattered activity through the evening and potentially even into the first half of the overnight hours. So if you haven't seen rain just yet, you still have a chance over the next several hours. Really has been favoring southern Indiana so far today, however. You can see the downpours that we're tracking across the area, not so much in the Louisville metro, but off to the north and northwest. So getting some downpours around Salem, more so this very strong storm between Paoli and English. This has been notified for areas of wind gusts 50 to 55 miles per hour. It's not severe warned, but it's just below that threshold. Heavy rainfall, lots of lightning with that, likely a very noisy storm. And then this additional severe storm that's lifting up near Jasper, Indiana as well, could pack a punch with some gusty winds with that. We're currently feeling the moisture, dew points in the 70s across much of Kentuckiana. So if you're not seeing one of those downpours, you're likely still feeling that high humidity. And this has pushed those heat indices into the mid to upper 90s or even the lower end of the triple digits in some parts of Kentuckiana. So this is what it feels like. Feels like 101 in Shepherdsville, feels like 96 in Louisville. We have a heat index of 99 in Brandenburg. Keep that umbrella handy through this evening as we continue to track these isolated to scattered downpours, especially across southern Indiana. We're not done with the rain just yet. We have another chance on Wednesday before we trend a bit drier and hotter for the weekend. We'll take a full look at our 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit, guys.
All right, thanks, Mallory. A Louisville-based moving company has been sued after multiple complaints to the Kentucky Attorney General's office. Margaret's Moving is owned and operated by Margaret and Arthur Stormy Weathers. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman said he's gotten multiple complaints from people. According to the suit, customers say their stuff was put in storage, but they were never told where, and some stuff was never returned or came back damaged. Margaret's Movers also hasn't obtained the required state certification since 2015, but they continue to operate without one. The lawsuit was filed in Franklin Circuit Court, which granted Coleman's request for a temporary restraining order.
The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet's working to change driving culture in work zones right now. Big announcement today. It follows the Jared Lee Helton Act passed this year. allowing automated speed enforcement at highway work zones. According to Kentucky State Police, speaking in Shelbyville today, law enforcement will be stationed at the end of the roadway and the road work, and an automated speed camera will be clocking you, the driver, as you go by. The cameras will alert law enforcement, who will pull over and ticket speeders. Now, you're not going to be mailed, emailed, or texted a ticket. That's because Kentucky State Police say any digital communication like that is likely a scam.
We're not wanting to go out there and write tickets. We're wanting people to slow down. We've got to slow them down so that our workers on the work zones are safe, and we've got to slow them down so that you're safe.
It comes as major work gets ready to begin on I-64 in that area of Shelby County. Last year in Kentucky, there were more than 1,200 crashes in work zones, resulting in 298 people injured and 7 fatalities.
Senator Mitch McConnell and Secretary Elaine Chao are in Louisville celebrating the expansion of the McConnell-Chao Archives of U of L's campus. The senator's life is documented in the Ekstrom Library, from his time as a student at Manual to U of L and then UK School of Law and his rise in politics. U of L says the new expansion bolsters the university's status in the fields of civic education and public service scholarship. Senator McConnell says this is more than just a museum about him.
From the beginning of the archives and the McConnell Center, the goal has been much more than to build a museum about ourselves. One of the greatest blessings of my career was starting out under the wing of my hero, Senator John Sherman Cooper. I was already interested in politics, but it would have been hard for anyone to walk away from a conversation with him and not believe that public service was a worthwhile calling.
The Archives Center also manages and preserves the papers of McConnell's wife, Elaine Chao. She was the Secretary of Labor and Transportation. Her personal papers are a valuable resource on the life of an immigrant family, her career as an executive, and life in public service. The expansion is not yet open to the public.